going on, everybody? That one dude is in the house, and we are here with episode 5 of hot stories and cold ones. And my dudes. For the first episode, your dude's gonna have to have a cold one, man. Stop playing, bro. Stop playing, bro. Come on now. We're going to have a good... Everything's all covered up because we're not sponsored yet. If you a beer company and you want to hook up with your dude, listen, I'll tell all the good stories and have a good brew, your brew specifically. But don't stress about it. I had to go and find one of the most seasoned white dudes that I know, bro. Absolutely fire, one of a kind. I'm talking about, yo... He coming to the fiesta, bro. He coming to the quinceañera. He gets lit with us 24/7, bro. He was that guy. He is still that guy. My dude, my OG, my guy, Joe G, my boy. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on? I'm great. Thank you for that introduction.
Yes, sir, bro.
Need all that. I appreciate it, though.
No, bro.
Like I said, I keep that in the back pocket.
Yes, sir.
Gotta stay posted on him.
You gotta stay, bro. 24/7, man. 24/7. We like that shit, bro. We like that shit. But no, listen, man. Here at Hot Stories and Cold Ones, okay, we come into it. We start with a specific segment. Am I the asshole? Joe G, and this is what we got for today. Am I the asshole for pushing back on my fiance's family and calling out how she handles conflicts in our relationship? And this is how the story goes. I, 29 male, have been with my fiance, 28 female, for about 4 years now. And we're in the middle of planning our wedding. Overall, I love her and want to spend my life with her, but lately things have been tense. Her family is very close-knit and very involved in each other's lives. At first, I admired that. But as we've gotten more serious, I've started to feel like our relationship isn't between us. Whenever we have disagreements about fiancés, chores, where we'll live, or even how we spend holidays, her family somehow ends up weighing in. Sometimes it's because she vents to them. Other times they'll directly call or text me with their opinions. Recently, they've been very vocal about what a husband's role should look like, including that I should be the primary provider, making the final decisions and lead the household. Ironically, they also think I should defer to her on anything that involves her side of the family. I grew up in a home where my parents saw each other as equals. I don't mind being a provider. We both work, but I don't like feeling like I'm being evaluated by a committee. I've told my fiance that I need our relationship to stay between us and that I feel undermined when private disagreements become family discussions. She says I'm being overly sensitive and that her family is just protective. She also says marriage means blending families, not shutting them out. On top of that, our intimacy has started to feel complicated, as I should say. During arguments, she sometimes withdraws physically. That's her right, obviously. But she also has explicitly said things like, maybe if you acted more like a partner I could respect, I'd feel more attracted to you. Or, when you fight me on things, it doesn't make me want to be close to you. To me, it feels like sex has become a bargaining chip tied to whether I agree with her or go along with what she and sometimes her family wants. When I brought this up, she said I was twisting things and that she can't help how she feels. She says attraction is emotional for her, and when she feels unsupported and challenged, it impacts her desires. She feels like it's framing her as manipulative when she's just reacting honestly. Bullshit. When recently we had a big fight after her parents suggested we delay the wedding until I was more aligned with her expectations of marriage roles. I told her I won't marry into a dynamic where I constantly am judged and pressured to conform. She said I'm making her choose between her and her family. Now things are strained. I feel like I am asking for boundaries and mutual respect. She feels like I'm trying to isolate her and control how she relates to her family, and that I'm reducing her emotional needs to withholding sex I genuinely don't know if I'm being unreasonable, or if we just fundamentally, if we are just if we are just fundamentally incompatible. Am I the asshole? So who is the asshole here, Joe G? The husband or this damn shorty?
You already know. You already know who the asshole.
You already know who the asshole is, bro.
You already know who the asshole is, and it ain't the dude.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it ain't the dude.
Mm-mm. I tell you right now, and this is what I mean, right? It's because the whole family dynamic is absolutely kind of wild. And Joe G, going into this, right? Like we're already saying the girl, right? It kind of leads into my first question that I have for you, and that first question is there a point to marriage in the present time? And let me explain why I asked that question. If you think about it,
All right.
let me think about it, right? Back then, why'd you marry? Oh, it was the concept of gender roles. Man provides, doing all this stuff. Woman stays in the house. She gets her stuff situated and everything like that. The percentage of people having kids dropped. More women are working. They're wanting to go and be on their hot girl summer, bad bitch mentality, all that shit in between. They're doing them. They're getting their own assets. They're getting their own stuff now. Acquiring, going to get their own form of real estate, their own bag, their own this, their own that. Just like men do. So in reality, if you are sitting here as like, okay, let's create this relationship, a marriage isn't a bond of two. But why, like to me, right, as a guy, like statistically, guys will lose more divorce cases than women do. Or they will come out with less often than what women will. So it's like,
No, I get what you're saying.
so merging this, like what's the point?
I think the whole statistic of this partly the numbers, right? Like men, and this is no prejudice, nothing like that.
Nothing like that. This is
Men,
we give all love.
yeah, no, men typically make a little bit more money than women. Like
Mm-hmm.
times are changing. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a wage gap, though. Like men
Yeah.
are always gonna, not always, but most of the time in the world we live in, they're gonna be the breadwinner. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you still gotta find the balance. But as far as like I don't know. I feel like you still gotta find the balance. But as far as like, is a marriage worth it? Like I don't know. Is that a question of like the financial part of it? That's a big part of it, right? That's what like I think as a 24-year-old, like all I'm thinking about is the money, money, money. I
Money,
want
money,
this
money,
bag,
money.
I want to do all that. Exactly. I want to make sure, get my loans paid off, do all that, and be all right financially. So that's a part of it. But like, I don't know. What do you like? There's a lot to it. There's a lot to unpack. Like I think that's a tough situation. I can't relate to that. I
And
can't.
and it's even crazier because in
You know what I mean?
America,
Like I'm not.
even in America, right? It's crazy because the divorce rate in America is 50%. So it's like you're getting married and you already got the odds at 50-50 chances if it's gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it depends on what you focus on, though. I
Yeah.
think if you have, I think yeah, if you have the intention right. So like, I'm the only like I was the only son in my family, right? So I feel like I have a bit of a responsibility or like an obligation to like carry carry out send the last name down another generation. You know what
Bro,
I mean? Like
I'm telling
carry
you,
on the
bro.
family tradition, the culture. Like I feel as a man, I feel obligated to do that. Somebody did that for me. I feel like I should pass it on. People say, "Oh, having kids is one of the best things you could do," right? But if it's not with the right person, and your like intentions aren't aligned, so I could be over here talking about I want to make all this money, yada yada yada, but you don't put enough eggs in the basket with the family, so it kind of it doesn't really pan out the way. And a lot of things, like a lot of people too, I think they get caught up in the we're married now, oh everything's gonna be different. Like if you've been with somebody for 4 years that you trust, and all of a sudden things are starting to change, I think you might have to rethink that, because that's at the end of the day the way I look at it too is like, yeah, is your family gonna weigh in and have some influence on the decisions you make, whatever it is. Like they're always gonna have some influence, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, as far as marriage goes, it's you, like you said, it's you and that one person. Like the guy said, it's him and his girl. So you're marrying into the family, but I don't agree when people say like you marry the family, like you marry the girl, or you marry the girl, you don't marry the family.
It's almost like when you marry her, you make your own inner circle, and there's a little bit of an outer,
Yeah.
a Venn diagram, I guess you could say, of like your family, her family. But that there's a reason why in a Venn diagram you got that little section, and that's
In the
supposed to be
middle,
you. You know
no.
what I'm saying? That little thing, that you know what I'm saying? So it's like to have that, that's what you really kind of need to have. People don't really like.
Whatever that is, yeah,
Yeah, whatever that middle part is, you know what I'm saying? That's supposed to be you. And I feel like a lot of people like to merge, being like, oh, well, that's still part of the other big circle. And it's just like, no, they've spent the years building that big circle. Now it's time for us to go and build ours. Because then when we have kids, right, and it's like we're doing that kind of ish, and they're like, oh my God, like reflect on yourself. Like you couldn't stand it when your parents were doing that stuff or when their parents were doing that stuff. Like, make it your own kind of relationship, because at the end of the day, right, like you and your partner, as you go on having kids and all that stuff, like you're gonna you're gonna go and continue the cycle, and it's not gonna go well for your kids and then their kids. It's like you
yeah,
can stop the cycle, teach them something new, get onto a new kind of pattern where your family may live happier and live better, you know what I mean? Because generations grow, you need to learn how to adapt. And if you're just sitting there with frustrations from the past, it's not really gonna go anywhere. And to that point, like to that point what I was saying beforehand, like I think also, right, and this is for me, right? This is what I'll say, like for me when I was living at my parents for the longest time, like there was always like I always do, like I still, like, listen to my family. I, like, I hear their opinions and everything like that. But I'm a lot more like independent in my choices and decisions and
yeah,
all that stuff in between. And I feel like Joe G, you lived by yourself for a minute and stuff like that. Like, did you see
yeah.
like growth in yourself and everything like that? Because I feel like when you live on your own, you really figure out a lot more like about yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have that same reliance on everybody, right? Like you don't have people making meals for you, whatever it is. Like, you go home, you do it yourself. But the other, like, going back on what you were saying, how it's just, you and whoever you choose to be with. I hate to sound morbid, but at the end of the day, everybody, like, the people that came before you, their family, like, they're gonna die at some point, you know? At some point it's just gonna be left with you two at the head of the house,
Yep.
at the top of the hill, telling everybody else what to do,
Yep.
you know? So you can only really pass on what the the good things are, the things that you really value.
Exactly. No, exactly that, for sure, for sure. And that's where I also feel as if it's extremely like important. We were talking about this in the last episode about like key qualities of like your partner and what you're looking for. But that's the thing. Last episode we were more talking about like dating outside your culture and shit like that. That episode was too freaking good. But this episode I kind of want to take a turn on it and look at it just more from like the partner perspective. And that's where one thing it's like, what is something that I feel like, what do you feel like is missing? Like for you, Joe G, right? You know what I'm saying? Like in your dynamic, like what is it that you look for in your partner that you don't feel like you see any like nowadays? Like that people, it takes a while for them to get a little messed up, for someone to like cheat on them like 7 or 8 times. You know what I'm saying? For them to be like,
Yeah.
maybe if I were to like have an epiphany, realization, like
It's like, oh, if I had this, then all this stuff wouldn't be
like
happening,
bro, she
kind
would
of
get a
thing.
ring
Is that what you're
tomorrow.
talking about? What's that?
Like if she were to do this, and this, she would have got a ring tomorrow. She'd have me thinking about like what do I gotta do to make her look like a queen. You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
Yeah, but then how's that? Like, if you say, ah, you give somebody a ring tomorrow, then how is that any different from meeting some random girl and then the next day she buys you a Lambo and all of a sudden, ah, it's wifey?
because I feel like it's deeper than that. I feel like people look at
No,
the
yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, oh, this one thing caused me to feel a certain way all of a sudden. I feel like if you're, I don't know, I would personally feel pretty silly, and because I probably wouldn't work out in hindsight, I would feel pretty silly diving into something without building on some kind of foundation, saying like, all right, this is where we've been, this is where we're at, and then like this is what the groundwork is for like where we're going, instead of like not having a strong foundation to set everything else up on.
Mm, okay.
That's kind of, I feel like, that, you know what I mean? Like it's not one specific thing. Like you have an epiphany. Now there's definitely there's definitely things that you have like aha moments along the way, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you figure out things about yourself. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but like you figure out things about yourself that weren't necessarily so prevalent when you were by yourself when you're with somebody else. So like when you're, use the example, you're living by yourself. You could use that example, right?
Yeah.
So you're used to, you have your own routine, you're used to doing things a certain way that may or may not work, right? You think they work and you keep doing it because you're living by yourself. You don't
Hmm.
see any outside perspective, you don't have
For
anything to
sure.
like bounce that off of. But once you introduce somebody into your life that you feel is like worthy of your time, because that's another thing too, it's like, how are you spending your time?
Mm.
Do you want to be with somebody that's, feels like you pulling you away from the things that
That you
make you
love.
better, things that you enjoy? You're gonna pull yourself away from the things that you value, the family, the culture, whatever it is, or are you gonna be with somebody that's gonna kind of promote that? But it's not until you have somebody like come in and tear your picture up and say, this is it, how we're gonna do it, that you really start to realize those things. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just partly like, you're taking a shot in the dark, but you're also building on something at the same time. It's like, it's kind of a risky business, you know?
It is. It is 100%. You know what I mean? And with that being the case, you know what I mean. That's kind of why I wanted to ask the question of like, um, is there a point to marriage? And I guess that's what you're saying, right? Like you build that foundation, you do everything, you trust the person, you're with the person for an extremely long time. Now here is the question that I feel like is gonna stir up a lot of things.
All
Something
right.
like a prenup. Do you feel those things are necessary in a relationship when you're going to go and you're not even a relationship? My fault. Scratch that. Going into marriage, because essentially, right? Like you meet the person, you build the foundation. You are doing what you love. You've
Nah,
set up what you
nah, you don't need
wanted.
to. Nah.
Okay.
What you thinking, bro?
What
I
am
don't
I
think you need
thinking?
no prenup.
What am
No,
I?
no way, no way, no way.
Well, I think that no, I wouldn't do a prenup. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And the reason why I say that, right, is because, and I asked the question because I know on episode 10, I know who my guest is gonna be, and I know he's gonna have a whole 40-minute segment of why prenup should be a thing. But um me, I look at it like when you go into it with a prenup, you're already saying like we might fail. Like this might go sideways.
I
Like
know, that's what I'm saying. You're stirring the pot. Like if
and
you're
like
that dude
how
in
do you
that
comfortably go to
story.
somebody and be like, I'd like you to sign this paper saying this is yours and this is mine. If you decide to leave or I decide to hook up with some other shorty, you can't do nothing about it. Cool, thanks. Sign your paper. Like what? How do you bring that up to a shorty? Like
I think you don't. I think you just try to like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm no detective. I'm no I'm not somebody that could like I wouldn't even think about that, you know? I
uh-huh.
can't like I can't my moral compass like wouldn't allow me to do that. I'd think about it, be like, I got this whole plan, I got the prenup all written
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
signed
yeah.
this, that, and I get in front of her. I gotta pull that away because I can't stomach that knowing like, like you gotta do somebody into it
Mm-hmm.
or like fake your way. Because then you're like faking it till you make it. You're just faking your way through it.
Exactly, bro. And that's why I'm thinking one of these
But
episodes, I got to get a girl into this and a guy into this. Because my next question was kind of, do you think a girl giving a prenup to a guy hurts or is as bad as a guy giving it to a girl? And I wish there was a girl here to answer that question, because essentially, like, what I would feel that her
is it?
answer would be like, girl, like man, I grew this shit on my own. It was mine. It was this. It was that. Like you trying to go and take mine, be a man, yada yada. Like that's what I could see being said.
Yeah, I could. It depends. Yeah, but it depends. I think it depends on who you're talking to too.
I
You
agree.
know,
Yeah,
like
it's
like,
not everybody.
but
I think
like
it's the
me, like
majority.
yeah. It depends. I think if you guys have the intention, like say like you just do a whole role reversal, right? Like the classic, like well, not really classic, but the situation where like the woman is making more money than the
Yeah,
man, or
yeah, yeah.
whatever it may be. She's a breadwinner. Like I, I don't know. It depends. It depends on if they have the same intentions going forward. Like, you know what, we're ride or die till the end, or if you're just trying to be married for the hell of it and see what happens.
Mm, I
Yeah, I don't
see.
know.
No, no,
I
no.
don't know.
It's a good thought. It's a good thought. And this is where
It's
just
like
yeah.
No, because like me personally, like my parents like were separated when I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like that's like I said earlier, that's like for me, it's like, all right, I'm gonna get this shit right. I'm gonna do this correctly for my family. So that's, not that it's a burden, but I feel like an obligation, like a moral obligation, like to make this happen.
Mm. No, and I feel that.
But
No, I get that, and that's where it's like I'm happy, to have you here for this conversation because, like, I guess you could say like we come from two different like viewpoints, kind of from it because like my parents like yeah they are still together. They never really argued at all growing up. Like I've never seen them go back and forth at each other, scream at each other, and they've given me advice in the past. Girls have gone and been like, why do you go to your parents for everything? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And it's because I look at them, I'm like, oh, I like their relationship, but I also have to kind of have that cognitive understanding that like they dated back then. Like this isn't now. This isn't all the social media. This isn't all the stuff in between that like kind of comes with it. And I guess that's where you could say right,
yeah,
like
this is
you
we
know,
live in a different world. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just there's no like pulling up to people in the clubs, like what's going on,
what's
talking to
going on and
somebody. It's
casual and stuff like
like
that. Like we talked
just
about this episode
bumping into
one, bro.
people shoulder to shoulder on your phone in the middle, like, yo, go dance, go make some friends.
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
I'm all about that. Wherever I go, I try to meet new people. Like people always, I think you could probably say when you got to know me, you were like, who the hell is this kid? Like I'm pretty quiet on the outside. I try to be a nice dude and be cool to everybody that I meet. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not an open book. But I think once you get to meet me, like, I got a little bit
I
more
was messing with you the
personality.
first day I met you.
Right.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was joking with you and freaking
No,
messing
that's
with
I
you.
mean that's true. We kind of clicked because you knew I grew up like around a lot of Hispanic people,
Yeah.
like a lot of Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. My two best friends are Ecuadorian,
Yep.
like so.
Not for real, bro.
You
That
know,
click.
you know, I grew
That
up around
yo.
that. You're
That
like, yo, this white dude speaks Spanish. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
bro. That shit
bro,
was tough, bro.
get with it. I say.
Bro, that shit was no, that shit was tough. That shit was tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. We just started clicking, bro, and then yeah, dude, we had our fun. I still to this day am mad at shit that you made me sleep over. But like, listen, it happens, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like shit happens, and that's what I was gonna. That's where I guess you could say the turn is, and the story's probably gonna come up. We're probably gonna talk more about it and stuff like that. So when it comes to the past, I guess you could say like before like getting intertwined with somebody. And this is where I say like how we say like the times are different. The times are different. You know what I'm saying? I feel like back then you got no social media. There was no social media. You couldn't keep track on what somebody else was doing. So you didn't really talk about it, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's like
Yeah.
we got Snapchat. And I promise you, I deleted it for a reason because this is one of the most toxic apps. Cause everything disappears. And two, everybody be posting ish on their Snap stories back in like
Nah,
everything.
nothing. That's where everybody thinks. That's where everybody thinks. Snapchat is so great, but what they don't know is nothing really disappears like that.
Exactly,
it's
bro.
out. It's out there somewhere.
Because it's
That's a,
out there
that's a different.
somewhere.
That's a
And
different
that's what
rabbit
gets
hole
me,
to go
right?
down.
Because
But
all it takes, bro, is for your dudes to go and just see snap from this person. You take that shit, you can screenshot. There's apps to go do secret screenshots, all that shit in between. Snap
oh
ain't
yeah,
secret no more. And that's what's crazy about it. But that's kind of where the
there's
question.
always a way around it. And even if you don't think there's a way around it, there's always some way to find something out about what somebody or who said what did in the past.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is where, for me, the question kind of lies is like, back then there was no way to kind of gauge on what somebody did in the past. You know what I'm saying? It was all done behind closed doors. If you weren't there, you didn't know about it until somebody talked to you about it. Nowadays, it's just blurted out. You'll get
You know
sent.
about it before it even
You
happened.
know about
You know
before
about it.
that ass, bro. You'll
You
get
did something wrong
sent a
before you even did
picture,
something, or
bro, bro.
something happened before you even.
Dude,
It's
it's crazy,
insane.
bro. Like it really is like the shit that happened in college, like in college beforehand, or hanging out, or being out in the summer, whatever the case is. Like you sitting there, like, yeah, I got my girl, yada yada yada, and then your boy will send you a snap video or some shit like that, like her making out with some other man at the freaking lacrosse house, or you're gonna be going and hanging out, and you're gonna be chilling at the bar. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you can just get mad. You just get mad hits up like, yo, is this your girl, bro? Is this your girl? And you're taking pictures, and she's over here macking with some dude at the bar, or she's doing this, or she's doing that.
Yeah,
Or
no,
when Christian and I were
I
talking
don't
about
miss
it
that.
beforehand, how she was like, oh, some girl hooked up with some dude at the bar, and then her man actually came down and picked her up, and she acted like everything was all cool, hugging him, chilling, all that stuff in between. And this is where I ask you, Joe G, in this in this time, in this present time,
Mhm.
do you gotta have the conversation about somebody's past? And does it matter when it comes to thinking about dating them, bro? Do you gotta pull up
I
the
don't think you
receipts?
do. I don't think you
You
do.
don't
I
think
feel
you
like you're
do?
gonna say you think you do. I don't think you do, bro. I don't think you do. I think
And this is why I asked,
I'm gonna double.
and I
I'm
asked the
gonna double
question,
back.
and I say double check this because this is why I say
I'm
it,
gonna
right?
double. I'm
I
gonna
go on
double check this
Instagram, Joe
before I.
G. I
I'm
go
gonna
on
go back on my
Instagram,
day.
real nicey nice, right? And I be seeing these girls who I know what they did. I know what type of time they were on, bro, and they sitting there dealing with freaking Timmy in a nice polo jacket, a polo thing, acting like everything's all kosher. When listen, bro, listen. I know you ain't innocent, bro. I know you ain't that slick to be in that white skirt, bro. Like, you should not be out here drinking mimosas like you just that fine. Like, bro, don't be talking crazy when you were taking 4 dangalangs to the face one night because you thought it was St. Patrick's Day and you felt like you were getting lucky. Like, no, bro. No, bro. Okay? And this is what I mean, Joe G. The past, man, like, do you feel that way? Do you feel that way, Joe G? Like, I'm being so serious with you. Because how do you feel, right?
Do you want to know? Do you want to know if your girl is taking dirty water hot dogs on St. Patrick's Day out of the hot dog cart? I
No,
don't
you
think you
don't.
want
No,
to
you
know
don't.
that.
No, you
Do you
don't.
want to
Right?
know
No,
that?
no, no, you don't. Right? But what you don't want to hear, right, is all of a sudden
Well, you don't want to not
one of
know
the
it.
dudes who gave her the dirty hot dog be like, "Hey, yo, what's going on?" And then hug your shorty like everything's all cool, and then you say, "Who that?" And then you're like, and then she tells you, and then you're like, "Well, why do you know each other so well?" And this dude dabbed you up like you were all kosher, bro.
Yeah, I'm just picturing that.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bro? Because there's been a lot of dudes
No,
we
I
knew
get what
that
you're
went through
saying.
that shit,
I'm
bro.
not disagreeing with you.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
What if? But what if you just like? What if you hit it off from the jump, and it just doesn't come up? What if like I'm just speaking out loud here. What if it's not important? What if it doesn't come up?
What if it doesn't come up? Like, oh, like no,
You
none of those
so
dudes from the past ever will show up again, and you good, and everything's all kosher and shit like that.
yeah.
I mean,
You get so if it let me ask you this. If you don't run into a situation right like that, right? Like you're
okay.
kind of on your own island, you got your own circle, you're kind of away from the past. Is that like who's gonna pop that question? Are you gonna wait for somebody to ask you, or are you gonna say like, all right, what you been through, you know?
I feel like I want to
Because
ask what
I
you've been through. I don't feel like I'm gonna ask what you've been through. I'm gonna ask like how many bodies you carrying, like for real. Like that's probably what I would ask because
you're gonna ask the body count.
you gotta ask the body count, bro. I feel like you gotta
You
ask
gotta
that
ask the body
question.
count.
I feel like you don't care about how she got it. Low key, you might, but like you don't want to know how she got it. You know what I'm saying?
It
But it's
depends
like,
on the number.
I mean, it depends on the number for sure. But it's like I'm not lying to you. If it's like a multiple of 5 over me, I got questions. You know what I'm saying? I'm
A
like,
multiple of 5 over you?
a multiple of 5. Stop playing. Why you acting like? Why you saying like that?
I'm playing.
Why you
I'm
saying
playing.
like that? Why you saying like that? Why you saying like that? It's,
I'm just making sure I'm hearing you correctly, Daniel.
yes, a multiple of 5. Of me, I got some questions, but I'm like, what the freak are we doing, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what I'm saying. I don't know why the freak are you talking. You talking. Listen, chat. Okay, bro. You told me we're supposed to go.
All right. As long as let me interject real quick before this gets ugly. As long as it ain't the kind of number that makes me like spit my drink out, we're cool.
All right, no. We can't play that game. We can't play. So you're telling me, you're like, as she hits an existing number. But so does that number change as you start gaining bodies?
What you mean?
So for example, right, if you at like,
You what
I'm
what
gonna
you
make
hit
you
10,
holy,
you
Joji.
only
I'm gonna
get
make
to
you. I'm
10?
gonna make you holy.
What
Don't
you
stress.
hit 5, you only get to 5?
Yeah, no, I'm saying for example, right? If like you're just like if you're at 10, right? And all of a sudden you're like my number, I'm like spit my drink out is like 43, 50 or some shit like that, right? And all of a sudden you get to 15, does it become 55? Like what the freak, how does that work? Like
I don't know. If somebody told me 43, I'd probably be out of their fashion they could blink, bro. The chair would still be spinning that I would sit in. I'd still be spinning. I'd be gone. I'd be gone. Like the old cartoons would be out of here on
bro.
some Looney Tunes.
I'm telling you, bro, and it's just like it's and it's for real though. It's like a legitimate question. That's where it's like how far do you go with that question? Because at the end of like you gotta know. I feel like as a dude, right? I don't know if it cares. Is what I'm saying. I gotta get a girl and a guy in this show one time. I don't know if it cares or like carries as much weight as it does for a guy that it is a girl. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you
Yeah.
hear a dude like your girl's like, oh, how many dudes? Oh, like he get around like that. It's like it doesn't hit as much as when a guy knows that your chick's been around. Right? Maybe and listen, chat, this is what I'm saying. Maybe I'm spewing bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a girl's gonna come on here one day and be like, no, it matters. You know what I'm saying? But I can promise you right now, it definitely don't hit as hard as it hits a guy. I could promise that ish, bro. Like, I feel like Joe G, no bullshit, right? I could promise you. You hear your girl, like, guys, I'm talking about, like, dude, it was not even close. Like, it's like not the same at all, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, it's like how, I guess, like, to me, it's like, it doesn't hurt just, like, physically, it hurts, like, emotionally and spiritually, right? Because, like, all you're thinking to yourself is just like, she's been through this shit like 70 times. Like, what makes me
70
different?
different dudes.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what makes me different, bro? Like, does she remember the other 60 something? Like, does this even mean
You gonna
anything
jump
to
in that
her?
water? You gonna jump in that water and try to swim? You gonna find out?
Am I gonna try to jump? I ain't gonna jump in that water, bro. I'm just trying to figure out how big the freaking ocean is, bro. Is it a kiddie pool? Or am I swimming in the Great Lakes? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yo, Yo, that's literally what I'm trying to figure out at this moment, bro.
I'm dead.
And that's what I mean, right? So you said it don't. But clearly here we're talking about it like it does.
It might have to. I think it doesn't.
I feel like it partially does. Like partially. You don't gotta know everything. Just like she don't gotta know everything about you. Because listen, at the end of the day, like, if you were a dog, you were a dog, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just like, and this is what I say, people might look at me and be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Girls might go and look at me and be like, oh, like, does it not matter if the girl's going to have a hot girl summer? It's like,
Then maybe you just gotta find somebody that's at the same number as you and everything's okay. Then it's a wash. Then you don't even worry about it.
okay, so now this is the question that so my question, if you had 70, right? If you got 70 bodies, like, I remember I was hanging with my cousin, right, from PR, and we were hanging out. And mind you, maybe the island's different. It definitely is different. And I was hanging with my cousin, right? And he was like,
70 bodies is insane.
no, yeah, listen, you better hear the number. I'm about to tell you next. So we were hanging with my cousin, right? And he was telling me, he was like, man, like, we were talking about each other's body counts at the time, right? And at the time, I was probably at like, what, like 10, 11? Like, I'm not near that now, but like, what's it called? Freaking, I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I got a lot. And he's like, Primo, that's a lot? Shit, he's 3 years older than me, bro. Okay? And he was like, you think that's a lot? Bro, I'm at like 125. I was like, bro, what?
Who's keeping track?
That's what my question was, bro. It's like, how do you know after 40?
Is he keeping tallies on the wall or something? Like,
That's what I just don't get, bro. And it's like, and the thing is, it's like, he's like, yo, I've been with, like, him around his girlfriend and everything like that. He said it to me, like, open loudly. She's right there, and she didn't, like, bat an eye. She ain't, like, stress about it. And that's why I said maybe it's just in America we stress about that. While everywhere else, it's just not a thing.
I don't know. I mean,
I couldn't tell you.
shoot, maybe you gotta travel. Maybe you gotta travel the world.
We gotta travel the world, bro. We gotta travel the world and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Hang out and everything like that, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like, seeing the world, bro, it was fantastic. Georgie, let me tell you something, bro. No bullshit, right? London, bro, was funny as shit, bro.
Yeah, you've been traveling a good bit, right?
I mean, a little bit, like a little something like that.
What was when you went to London? What was the biggest like culture shock?
Room temperature beer. No, bro, I'm talking about that shit. They pump that shit out the barrels, bro. They call it still beer, so they pump out the barrel. It's not carbonated. It's not cold. It's not none of that stuff, bro.
Oh my gosh.
It's just like it's just not it. It's just not it.
God.
Between that, the portions, you go to
Yeah, I
McDonald's,
was just
bro.
gonna say, how's the food? The food is like, I saw a video recently on YouTube of like this it was like a whole bunch of like British kids trying American barbecue for the first time.
They thought that shit was crazy.
Oh my god. They're like, I'll never go back and eat the old stuff. I'll never go back. I'll never do it again. Little Tommy. No, they're like they're just like dumbfounded, like they're shocked. They're like, how do these people eat? But then see what it does to the American diet is a different story. But like the people over there, like they can't get enough of it. I don't know.
What gets me, right? What gets me is that I was starving out there, bro. I'm talking about every day. I never felt full ever in my life out there eating, bro. Like I'm talking about, like they got no free refills, bro, on drinks. You gotta pay for that ish every time, and you gotta think about it, a pound is worth more than $1 right now, bro. So 2, 3, 4 pound thing is actually like $7, $8.
Prices, I don't know, is it that much? Prices are about the dollar amount, like the numerical value is probably what, like $3, $4 for a Coke, whatever. What do they call it? A pop?
Yeah, they call it pop, but it did not feel. It was not $3, $4, but it was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's why I don't drink soda, man.
That's why I don't drink soda, man. I'm telling because I think all that unhealthy stuff they always try to like have you pay excessively amount. That's why I was always drinking water, bro, out there, or just black coffee. That's all it was, 24/7. And then I had
No,
tea.
I mean like I feel like it's such a like I've never been to Europe, but like I mean, granted he hasn't been back in a while, but like my dad was born in Italy. He says that culture is like just everything about. I mean, he's traveled a lot, but everything about like other parts of the world is just like complete culture shock compared to America. Like if you kind of group like the way people live in like Europe together, oh my gosh, it's so different. Like everything is just it's just from the food, from the way people like take care of their bodies,
Yup, to
from
treating
how
each other.
what
Everybody
people
works
spend
out
their
there,
time
bro.
doing.
All of them working out,
Everybody
bro.
works out. They don't give a shit about work. They just live their lives. Everybody's happy. I
Yup.
mean, not that I'm not happy. I enjoy what I do. I shouldn't say that, but like, it's just a whole different thing. 5 weeks vacation, nobody cares.
Bro, and it's like it's
But
crazy because there were dudes that got there, they're like, oh yeah, I just took a month off. Acting like everything is all cool. They're like, yeah, I'm just gonna be here. And
a
they're
month.
yeah, he just took a whole month off just chilling, bro. And he came back when I went out there, was talking about how, oh, it's just easy. They just go, let the machines run, push a button, and just hang there for the entire time and just make sure nothing crashes. And if it does, you report it. Somebody else comes to fix it, and they call it a day. And nobody's stressing about how long it takes to fix, no matter how long it takes to do X, Y, and Z, whatever the case is. And one thing that got me when I went to London was when I first got there, they looked at me and they're like, "You American?" I was like, "How could you tell?" And they were like, "You like Trump?" That's the first thing they asked. The next thing they asked is that does everybody shoot each other? That's what they asked, bro. That's what they asked when I'm out there. And I'm like, they must think everybody just walks around with pistols. I mean, you go down south, that most likely might be it. But like,
Oh yeah.
but no, like they think that's like all of America. That it's just constant war over here, and it's just crazy because we're thinking that's the other side of the world, bro. To the Caribbean, like it's that calm, bro. Nobody gives a shit about like work and all that shit in between. It's just you living your life, you enjoying your life to the fullest. No stressing, no worrying. Like drinking, you
You
party,
ever notice?
celebrating.
You ever notice like you go anywhere outside of the Northeast, and even like I would say I would probably group like Pennsylvania, like Philly area, but like anywhere kind of like west of that and south of Philly is just like everybody's all calm, not a worry in the world. They just care. They just love their Jesus down south.
Their
Like
Jesus,
it's
their
mad. It's so
beer, their
simple. Everything
football,
is
living and vibing,
you come
brother.
to the Northeast, everybody's a dickhead. Everybody hates you. Everybody's going so fast. It's like, why are you late? It's like like it's way different.
And that's what kind of gets me is like what makes. I guess that kind of came to my question right now. Like, what made this part of like everything from Northeast up, bro? Like that section you're talking about, like Philly area, take that slice of the East Coast, like that slice of the Eastern Pennsylvania, and just like bring it all the way up to the top of Maine. It's like asshole clenching ish, like 24/7.
Okay.
Expectations, work, lifestyle, all that stuff in between. Nobody wants to talk to each other in the gym. You go, you work out, you do your hour and a half, you go home, you're doing what you gotta do and shit like that. No enjoyment.
It's not. I mean, I think you can still find enjoyment out of it, but like, I still kind of like it to an extent.
But I know we're used to it.
No, I'm used to it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like anytime I go anywhere, like anywhere down south, anywhere outside of this area, even being down in Delaware now compared to living in New York most of my life and being up, got family up in Boston, that kind of thing. Like, everybody's so nice. I'm like, dude, I'm in a rush. I'm trying to get to work. I have things to do. Go to the gym, this and that. I want to do all these things in my day, and everybody's all calm. It's like, it's just so different. It's so different. But
No, it is.
man,
It is.
a lot of stuff going on. A lot of what you got planned for 2026? You got anything going on? Anything? What
Bro, what I'm talking about, the girl, the lady, bro, the lady made me make a vision board, bro. I've never done that shit before in my freaking life before, bro. But I got this joint actually right over, bro. I need to get a tattoo. I need to get back to the weight goal. I'm already down 20 pounds so far. What's it called? I got the goal of 1,000 subscribers. So you dudes who's watching this right now, yo, like, subscribe, all that stuff in between. Get me closer to that goal. Hit that subscribe, bro. I want to get into trading, actually. I want to get into trading, learning how to trade in terms of stocks and all that stuff in between. Just because if I'm traveling for work and I'm not doing anything in terms of the YouTube stuff or whatever, and I got a couple $100 that I want to learn how to trade, maybe flip, make more profit out of and stuff like that, then boom, learn how to kind of do that stuff. And also, too, like, learn how to, like, being okay with risking. I don't like to, I'm usually just like, if I think there's a 3% chance of failing, I don't do it. Because I think to myself, just like, I might lose it. There's still a chance to lose it. Unless it's betting football. I'll do that shit 24/7. Let's, again, for me, right, pop in the question at some point. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal, bro. That's the goal to this year. Yeah. If I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah. That's been on my mind for sure. Thinking about it, whether it's gonna be, this year, beginning of next year, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? It's there. I'm not sure yet though. You know what I'm saying? Gotta tune up some things, check out some things, and then I'll let you know. Getting a house though, for sure. That's a goal.
Getting a crib.
Like, I got my own crib, yeah, already, but like a house. Like, I want to be able to go and get this little studio thing I have, bro, and back that shit up, sit on a couch, big mic, studio setup, lights hooked up nice and everything like that, like doing it right.
No, that's what's up. That's a nice part about, I guess, living by yourself, is you got the freedom to do that kind of thing. Make your own little man cave, have it, like, make it your own.
For sure.
When I had my apartment, it was like, felt like it was just like a splatter of like all my hobbies, like everywhere. It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
I'm working home now. I still got that, but I miss I got home from work and it was nice. I would work 7 to 3 basically. I'd get home, 3 o'clock in the summer. You got 6 more hours of daylight. Go golf on your own time. You go mountain biking on your own time. Do whatever, just on your own time. See your friends. It's nice having that freedom.
No, it is. It really is. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And also too, like, I just feel as if and this is what kind of sucks, right? Because I did move away from all you guys, basically. At some point, I'll probably go be heading down south to hang with those people that are not like that anymore. It's gonna be a little bit of a culture shock, I guess you could say, for me, because people might come up to me and be like, "Oh, hey," and I'm extremely friendly, 100%. But like, I feel like the friendliness down there makes me think you're gonna try to rob me, especially if I know 90% of them got straps on them and everything. So it's like, that's kind of what's like absolutely mind-boggling to me. Is just the difference, you know what I'm saying? Like, of how it is. Like, we'll tell you straight to your face, you being a dickhead. You know what I mean?
How it is?
Yeah, like straight up how it is, right? But you go down south and then she's like, "Oh, ain't she lovely?" When she's really saying like, "Screw that chick." Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what? Like, to me, then I already suck at sarcasm. So it's like, you doing that shit, I'm gonna think everything you say to me is a freaking insult. So it's like, it's gonna throw me off. 100%, it's gonna throw me off. You know what I'm saying? But I just,
but like, you go down there and like you still got your own, you got your own way of doing things. You're still gonna have your own personality. Like, it's still probably gonna rub off on you, but at the end of the day, like you move down south, like the world's still pretty small. You still see the people that you need to see. You know, you got your core. Like how many? Think about it. Like how many people from school or wherever you've been do you like really stay in touch with, right? Like I got, I don't know, 3, 4 people from high school, probably 10 or 15 people that I just like stay in touch with from school, you know. But as far as like having some consistent, like, oh, we go out and see each other, stuff like that, you'll still, for the 5 or 6 people that you have, you'll still make that effort, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, you
But
do.
not like, yeah, you still do. Like, it's not ideal. Like, why you gotta move to Texas, bro? It's not ideal.
No, it's not ideal.
But
Yeah.
we gonna go down and make it work, of course, you know?
Of course.
But, nah, it's exciting moving to Texas, man.
Bro, I'm telling you. I'm actually gonna be heading. I'm gonna be heading there tomorrow. What's it
Yeah.
called? Yeah, chilling there for about a couple days, chilling, vibing, and then I gotta head out to Seattle for a little bit. So then, it's just gonna handle the business. That's all I really gotta do, you know. And that being the case,
When
right?
you,
This.
oh yeah, like when you travel, I mean, if you get something done early, work wise or whatever, you can kind of go out, sightsee. I mean, do a lot of stuff. I mean, you meet a lot of people. You say when you travel a lot, like people you could stay in touch with and like reach out to and go see and stuff again.
Yeah, usually, yeah, I get a lot of good from the customers that we go to. I build really good connections. They always ask for my number, and then we'll like text here and there, maybe chat once in a while and stuff. And then if I go out there, like I kind of have those connections where I can go out and meet them at a bar, and then we just chit chat, kind of just about life or something like that. You know what I mean? And hey, like some of those guys might end up on this podcast too someday too. So
Nah, that's what's up.
yeah, so that's kind of what that looks like from that end of it. And it's kind of interesting, right, in terms of what we do and stuff like that. So chat, for those who don't know me and my boy Joe G over here, bro, we both engineers, right? And it's kind of crazy how vast technology has truly just grown. And what I mean by that is AI, right? And Joe G, plot twist, right? The Am I the Asshole I just read to you was actually generated by AI, if you would not have known that, right? And it's kind of crazy to think about that, right? Because how realistic it sounded. You think to yourself, like, holy shit, someone really could have wrote this ish. And how that's just like a small taste of what AI can truly do. I'm starting to see how automation is starting to take over the industry. And while people may look at us and be like, wait, what about the jobs, the people that need to work, and all that stuff in between?
Yeah, right.
There's also that kind of aspect of like, how do you elevate in the world without sacrifices? You can't gain something without losing something. And I guess,
Yeah,
do we
definitely.
have to constantly battle this moral gain versus loss? Or is this something where, like, to achieve excellence, we must take the necessary steps to do so?
Yeah, it was gonna. I mean, you always gotta sacrifice something. Think about like the think about like a time like a like a period where you like experienced like the most growth in your life, right?
Yeah.
Like you always had to jump over some big hurdles and sacrifice a lot, whether it's time, a lot of energy, a lot of research, reading, whatever you're doing, gaining knowledge. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into that. You definitely got to take the necessary steps. I mean, I forgot who said it. I saw a clip of it not too long ago. A guy, he won like a major Academy Award, and he was like, said 3 things, and one of the things that stuck with me is like, the fastest way to get to anywhere is always the slowest way. Meaning that, you gotta take the right steps, take the right amount of time to develop or do whatever you really want to do and do a good job at it. Like you definitely have to sacrifice.
Bet. Okay. No,
That's my
I get.
take on it though.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. And this is kind of where I guess you could say it kind of relates to, how do I say? When we work in our respective fields and everything, I feel like we deal with a lot of day to day, like really just random things. Some people like they do deal with the same things every day.
Hmm.
But that aspect of seeing something new, really getting your mind twisted and turning and everything like that. And I guess for me, right, I feel like it's such a pain in the ass that I can't go to somebody that's not at my job and just talk about it. Really dig deep, really dig deep into like the nuances and everything that like I may do in my job, the things that I'm struggling with in my job. And like that's why I'm really
Yeah.
close with a lot of my coworkers, even though like a lot of us are like maybe I have two or three guys that are on the same age gap or in the same age range as me. But like everybody else, mind you, my teacher, he is the same age as my mom. But like me and him, we're tight as hell. Like that is my guy. Like, and that's what's kind of like interesting going into this field. I'm seeing myself gain more and more friends that, if you really think about it, like he was in high school when I was like still in my dad's sack. So like, and it's like, and that's just the caveat of it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in our field, and I guess like, what do you feel like you've learned from kind of having that, kind of having something like that? If you know if you experience that day to day.
Yeah, I mean, like those people are definitely a wealth of knowledge, though. You know,
I agree.
like you gotta definitely tap into their minds and see like what made them successful that you could kind of emulate on your own.
Hmm.
Like they, you talk about like especially in our industry, for instance, like there's a lot of technical stuff that you learn when you're in school that doesn't necessarily apply until you get out in the field and you realize, all right, this is a whole different world. So I think you gotta rely a lot more like on developing good people skills and like asking the good questions and seeing what's really what people like makes people tick and what kind of got them to progress in the field that you
Yeah.
could, like I said, you could kind of like emulate that and make it your own.
Hmm.
But I don't know, I mean, there's different ways to go about it, though. I mean, there's people that got different opinions. There's people that are our age that are younger. It's like, now we're the younger generation, we're going to do it on our own, we don't need you guys, we're going to fix all the mistakes you made. So there's kind of like two different ways you could look at it.
I see, and I also feel as because I hear this a lot from my family where, they said, "Damn, bro, if I was like at your age, like I was where you at in your age when I was like 30 something, like I feel like the time frame in which you really needed to like get your shit together to really become something was just at different times. You know what I mean? And because of that,
Oh yeah.
kind of comes to my next question in a sense, right? Like, um, as you build in your career, you know what I'm saying? You hit 30s, you hit 40s, and it's starting to go and, say for an example, right? Like you have your wife, you have your kids, you have all this stuff in between, right? And but yo, your job is like we're giving you 300, 400,000, 500,000 a year to get this ish rolling, but you work in the long hours. I'm talking about 12-hour days, like Monday through freaking Sunday, like nonstop hustling on the phone, all that ish in between and everything like that. Like, is the work life balance that we may have set ourselves up for in the next like 15 years, like, oh, do we need to digress? Does our woman need to understand? You know what I mean? Because like I feel like when we've achieved such a thing, we want to feel supported. And if we dial it back, are we sabotaging ourselves? Or are we just kind of looking more of like the families matter, but it could affect our career?
Like I think you got to have balance, right? Like you can pursue all different kinds of things. It depends on what you prioritize, though. If you you know want to make your career number one priority, number one, two, and three, maybe, and keep family and kids, whatever, at four and five, or however you want to order that, then yeah, there's probably going to be a little imbalance, and you might not feel that same kind of connection with the people that you deal with. But if you can, maintain some kind of balance, and this is the other thing is, depends on how you feel about what you're doing. If you're working that 9 to 5, your whole life, and you're just miserable doing, you don't have to work a 9 to 5 and be miserable. I know plenty of people that really like their 9 to 5 jobs, and it's something they wanted to do, and they feel passionate about it, and they don't really see any type of work life balance because it all balances out in the end. They don't feel like they have to put work in its own category. It kind of just fits in the mix,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I don't know. I think it depends on how you look at it. Depends on how you prioritize things.
I see. Okay. Where I'm looking right with the concept of 5 years is because, I feel like parents usually have had their kids by at least 30, having taken care of all these things in between. I feel like that's what like life kind of starts getting situated. But because of the economy that we have now, it's almost a lot like hard. It's almost like we have to work two, three, four jobs to be able to get that, live
Oh
comfortably, and
yeah,
be like happy and stuff like that. So it's like
just your
what?
head above water.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah,
So what do you feel like needs to be done for us to be able to do that?
I think the people our age gotta start doing the dirty jobs, start doing the trades, start doing tough manual labor, for lack of a better term. I think those are the big paying jobs, like the skilled jobs and stuff. But
Yeah.
on top of that, like I think being your own boss is a huge advantage. And you taking the leap and being an entrepreneur or doing something like that. Just to not everybody's successful at first. You gain the skills though, and you fail a couple times, you're bound to make it. You
Mm-hmm.
fall down 9 times, you get back up 10.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, I think, huge things. I think that's a big way to kind of break the cycle, though.
And
But
and to close this off, right? I'm just curious for all those out there, you know what I mean? What is it that you need that you feel like you need to do for yourself genuinely, right? To keep your mind right? Because I feel like there's so many distractions in this world, from porn to social media to seeing influencers to bad influencers to just a variety of different things. What do you do to keep your mind locked in, like on the prize, staying up, calm, stoic the entire time? Because Joji, I can't lie to you, bro. One
man,
thing I looked up to you always is you read, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I always had a low reading score. I freaking failed that shit in the PSATs. But like no bullshit. Like I always when I would come into your room, bro, and you had that book next to your drawing, bro. It's like in my mind, I was like, that's why, bro. When you were dating Shorty back in college, I was like, that's why you got that Shorty, bro. This bro up here, bro. This bro up here, bro.
this never dies.
This never dies, bro.
This, all the muscles, whatever, the tattoos, everything goes away. This never dies. Always invest in this. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say is actually just invest in this thing right here and make that your priority. That'll take you far.
Yeah. Hot dang, man. Joji, man, we've been here for a minute. My dude, I appreciate you popping out for this
It's been
show,
a
man.
time, yeah.
We're
I have to
gonna
run
do
it
it,
back.
bro. We're gonna run it back for a part two, bro. I'm telling you, a lot of these dudes I've been around, we're gonna run it back for a part because with this stuff, bro, it's so good. I love the interaction. I love to be able to sit here and just, whether we disagree, whether we agree with each other, it's all cool. It's all common. My dudes, that's what the point of the show is, yo. Get back to the concept of you can sit down and have a conversation and not want to freaking punch somebody square in the face, bro. You have a good time. That's what we used to, and that's what we're gonna bring back with this episode, my dudes. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to DAT1DUDE, bro. We're gonna show more content. This show is not going nowhere. My dude Joe G, thank you for showing up, and my guys, I will catch you in the next one.
This is how I move. I don't never lose.